Hello, friends. How are you today? I am so excited to be here and talk to you about the amazing energy today on the Schumann resonance chart. You guys asked for it, we all asked for it, and we got it. A huge event of white resonance pouring forth on the chart, lifting our spirits, energizing us, even kind of maybe being overwhelming for some people. It's so amazing. It's come with 2 X-class flares. There was one here on January 6th, which is the day before the 7th. That's the first day on this chart. And then as I was making the video and preparing the slides, an X-class flare happened. So we've got 2 of them sort of bracketing this event. And there was also an increase in solar flares. There was 1 plus 3, there was 8 solar flares that were M-class during this time, and a whole bunch of C-class in here for 2 days. So that's really, really interesting. So can I ask you, can you please like this video and subscribe if this resonates with you? And go join my Substack, because I'm going to be reinitiating that with this video and this event. So if you check that out, that would be super awesome to join. If you join, and if you join the paid version, it's a way that you can support me. So thanks very much for that. Okay, so let's see here. I wanted to just show you a couple chart things that were interesting. The first is there are all these vertical lines with the first image here, okay, with periodic spacing, and then you had it again here with the second image. But in the third image, third wave, it is free of vertical lines. So I thought that was really interesting. And interestingly, the shape of the waves is slightly different as well when the vertical lines disappear. Now here's something else that's interesting. This really looks like what I call the gates of heaven. And especially this right here. I remember doing a video on this recently and showing you the different shapes of that. It's reminiscent here, and it's even reminiscent here, but here it just sort of changed shape. And I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know what it means that the vertical lines are gone and the shape of the wave changed. I'm just making observations, and sometimes I'm just not going to have a conclusion about these things. Let me look at my notes, see what else we got here. Oh, what I wanted to say was that this dates for this chart is January 7th, the 7th, the 8th, and 9th. And Orthodox Christian Christmas is on, I think January was on the 7th this year. So this chart is created in a country where there's a very big commitment to Orthodox Christianity, and there's all these celebrations going on right now. I saw another post on social media that said, I don't know if this is true, but it said that on the Julian calendar, today is actually December 25th, or the day of, what was it? I think it was which day was it? Anyway, one of these 3 days they said was actually on the Julian calendar. It's December 25th. I don't know if that's true, okay? But what I'm saying is this is a special time of year. And I've made several videos. I made a list of them in one of the recent community posts about the light increasing. So after the solstice, we have the longest day, right? That's the solstice. And then for several days, you have that long day, the same length. Then you get 1 extra minute of light. That's the light returning, right? In the new season. And so it's really interesting, because this isn't the first January where we've had a display like this. And it does. It has before looked similar in shape, especially this part of the chart here, to this gates of heaven image that recurs on the chart. So I'm just pointing out observations, seasonality, the sun, moon, planet effects. I just want to mention all of these things that may or may not be a part of this, but I think it's interesting to note what is happening. I know that there's people that have written in on the comments and said that they were really tired. I have been just really tired, but at the same time, I feel a really good energy, and I went for a walk before I did the video, and it really just revived me. We have a break in the storms here in California, and it just, right now, it feels so good. Let me quickly show you the black charts, and then I'm going to show you the grand finale. It's incredible, the images that come out of these 3 sets of waves. Okay, the key thing here in red, and these charts are on my social media and they will be on my Substack, so that you can check out all the detailed comments in case you can't read them very well on the video. The key thing here is the big uptick to 28.2 hertz in the frequency range of green. This is just here. Let me show you this down here. See, 0.6, 0.5, so sort of around here. This is our sort of protection area as I've determined it watching the chart for quite some time. And look how much and how strongly we rise above that. I say that green, in my view, represents sort of the general state, general health of humanity, general welfare. And we're feeling good in these energies, even if we're tired or feeling stretched. It's interesting because red had this flat line, and then bam, as soon as the wave came without the vertical lines, red just drops off a cliff. It's amazing. And I'll leave the comments on the other ones. There were some interesting things, but I'll leave that for you to look at the charts later. This was very notable here. Look at green in the power or amplitudes is at 31 here. Notice that it's above yellow. Okay, and yellow's at 23, okay? Now watch this. Red is at 26. You almost never see that, where green is a higher power than yellow and red, and where red is then a higher power than yellow. Of course, yellow is the top most powerful amplitude on the chart, as usual. But wow, I just thought that was amazing. In the qualities, we had two resonances that had really worth noting numbers here. We had red at 26, which is pretty high in red, okay, for really hours at a time. So it's interesting that that occurred with the flatlining as well. We did see that last year, okay, when all the crazy fear-based messaging was going on. But look how it drops off the chart. It's just like bam, and then stays low as we get the wave with none of those vertical lines. Now here we're at 28 for, and really super spiky here, but we pop up to 28 in the green, which is really, nicely strong. And here's, let me do 15, okay? Because I've talked about how 25.2 in the frequencies is like our strong suit for, in my view, for humanity. But here's the thing, 25.2, sorry, not 20. This is the quality. So 15 in the qualities is where, under 15, I noticed, is where we feel safe. Okay, this was all from going back over the past 3 years and watching anecdotal incidences, but where it repeated on the chart. And in 2020, I have several videos where I go into detail on how I came to those conclusions. So those are in the 2020, like starting in March and then April and then into the summer, possibly beyond that, where I made all those observations. Okay, and then the observations about the flatlining and the movements in red are from the fall of 2021 through January of 2022. There were some really super interesting videos if you want to go check out those patterns. But what I'm saying is, despite all of the potentially negative news, look at this. And it was interesting because I was I happen to be like, we were past in the United States, we're past the political drama. Some amazing things are happening around the world that see where there's a calming or a bursting forth of freedom that people are acting on globally. And what's amazing is that then I saw on a post, social media post, now it's some other disaster. They're saying, oh, this could happen. And I just looked at it and I said, no, not doing that today. Not worrying about it, not thinking about it, not putting any energy. You're not getting any of my energy. You're not getting any of my energy to create that. No, not in my world. Not on my watch, as Archangel Michael likes to say. Okay, let's look at the good stuff. Oh my gosh, you're going to be amazed. All right, so first thing I did was I reversed the chart. And sometimes I like to look at reverse charts and then doubling images. And if you look back over my videos, you will see places where I highlight this. It depends on the chart, but today, oh boy, it was amazing. Let me just show you. So you can see there's 3 groups of waves here. 1, 2, 3. And actually this is the first one because the chart is reversed. Okay. Now this is what I did. Look, I doubled each one. Oh my gosh. Now this is what I want to show you. First of all, let's first look at this. I mean, just going to be quiet for a second, give you the time to look at this. Get a sense of this energy and the reality that goes with this energy. And then look at this. This one here in the middle. Okay, that's really, really interesting. And then this one. This one was just, wow. Look at this. Okay, leave it there for a sec. All right, so I'm going to put these on my social media and Substack, but look at this. Okay, here is the first image. This is the one that occurred first in the chart. Here's the one that occurred second on the chart. Here's the one that occurred third. And I want to look at the middle of this with you. It's amazing. First of all, there's a lot of circles in the middle, which is similar in the other 2 images. There's an image here of an animal. Well, now it looks like it could be a horse or an alpaca. But when I first looked at it, I saw a dog, which is funny because one of my viewers, Coyote, I think it's Coyote Sanctuary, had sent me a message and talked about howling at the moon. And that's really not me. And so I just kind of looked at that with one eyebrow up. But then as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, now I see it. I see it up here. It does look like a wolf or a dog. And then I just had to laugh because now it's in the chart. So I said I told myself there's no way I would ever do something like that. And then it showed up in the chart. So now I got to talk about it. Isn't that funny how things work and how energy works? So thank you for that comment. But look at this. This is, tell me what you see here. It is interesting. I thought that this looked a little bit like DNA right here. So that was really cool. Let's go up here. This is where the head is of the figure. Pretty wild, huh? Let's see if there's anything else up here. It's interesting because on the video about the spiritual warrior, it's linked in my current community post. I talked about looking vertically and how that deeply related with a past lifetime. And as I was making this video, I was just in awe that in that lifetime I had this stunning experience of looking at a vertical line of information. And then now I'm doing that. Like every day. It just, check out that video if that interests you, because it was so amazing. And I talked about my life. That was my lifetime, my last lifetime in Atlantis. All right, now let's look at the center of this one, because sometimes in the center there's really interesting. See the horizontal here? To me, this is a real awakening. And with all these vertical lines, it's like we are reaching for God, if you will. We're reaching for divinity. We're wanting to expand our consciousness. And the expansion really happens more broadly, I feel, when the horizontal lines light up like this. Because individually, right, we can get that connection from 0 to 40, essentially. God at the bottom, God at the top. Our soul connection at the bottom, at the top. That's how I view it. But when that goes horizontally, like for extended periods, to me, this says something about our group experience. And it's really beautiful. And these, to me, do look like gates of heaven, and maybe there's 3 different gates here. Maybe, there's a saying, there are different paths, but that all lead up the mountain. And maybe that's what we're seeing here. Different paths that lead to the gates of heaven. I don't know. Different gates that lead to different experiences of the divine, maybe it's different realities we create on earth. Let's look at this one. This is really interesting. And hold on, let me see if I see it here. Yeah. Okay, here's what I saw here. See this here I see as a face, and it looks like feminine or woman, and she's almost wrapped up in this like white dressing or cocoon. There's these 2 little pointy things up here. And here's a strange being. It doesn't really look human, and it's behind her, almost like directing her, and I see her. Okay, here's the nose, here's the eye, here's the mouth. It's like she's looking away. Well, right now she seems male. It's like she's looking away. She doesn't want to go forward into whatever this is. And it's almost like this strange being. See, it's got an eye, it's got its mouth open, and it's got its arm here. Here's its like shoulder and its body, its hips, waist. And here's the arm. And it's like it's trying to push her into that opening. And she's just like, no. She's straining to get away from it. Wow. Isn't this like what we're experiencing right now? I'm going to put it there so you can see both the doubled effect. Isn't this like where there's a certain small group that for some reason, there's some influence on our world that is saying that it wants our world to change, and it wants humanity to change, and it's extremely authoritarian. It seems very anti-life. And many of us, all of us, who, if you become aware of it, first of all, there's shock. And then second of all, it's like, no, I'm not going to create that. I will not create that. I will create something else in my reality. And what if each one of these images is like a screen that presents to us different realities? And what if we can create these as human beings? I talked about this again a little bit in the spiritual warrior video. And I think it's the spiritual warrior, the rewards of doing the work. Because doing the work has huge rewards. Like, for example, being able to recognize what this image is about. Hey, something unknown, some invisible force here that doesn't seem very human or human-friendly is trying to push the human, right? Trying to collect it all into a cocoon of some sort, restrict this human's activity, and then push it into this chasm. No, I do not consent. Okay. That's what I see here. Now, if you're aligned with that force, then you would probably see this as, oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Because all experience is valid in the eye of the Creator, I believe. And anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I talked about it a lot, the spiritual stuff a lot in my last video. And this to me is just a real to me, it's a real image of transformation. This is image 2. If you have thoughts you want to share about this, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And thank you all so much for your comments. There's been a lot of commenting recently, and I really appreciate all of you. A lot of people really felt inspired and really said a lot in the response to my Spiritual Warrior video. And I just want to let you know I read all the comments. And I want to let you know my dad is out of the hospital. He just got out last night. Isn't that great? It's fantastic. It was so great to see him doing so much better. So thank you all for your well wishes, and thank you. I normally try to really engage in the comments, but between this extra thing of driving to the hospital and everything, it really wasn't able to do that as much, and on Twitter. So I'll get back into that soon. And then here is image 3 that we just looked at. Very clear, very clean, and just these amazing circular energy, not spiral, but circular. And it kind of reminds me of a portal. And this down here, these kind of look like almost hieroglyphics to me. I thought it was really interesting. I'm sure some of you are going to see other really interesting stuff in here. If you do, you can always @ me on Twitter or through social or on Telegram. I don't have comments, but or those two. All right, thank you so much. I am going to put all of these images on social media so you can really groove on the energies and check them out and look at them and enjoy them. God bless. Thank you for being here, and it's a joy to be with you today.